So, if you can proceed to open up the coder pad,
Yep.
and hopefully in a way that yeah, perfect. Uh,
Hopefully no
I
one's
see that
able to.
there's a chat GPT portion there.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to avoid using that if at all possible. I
Okay.
did not
I
know that was
I just clicked the link you gave
part of
me.
it.
This is not. It's
Yeah,
part of what you
new
provided.
feature. Yeah. So what we'll be doing here is we're going to be, as I said, doing a technical coding question. I have a coding question. I'm going to paste it in to this window, but I'm going to go over it verbally as well because I always like to let people know up front there's not a trick to this question. I know there's a lot of companies, teams, and interviewers who might ask questions that have a little bit of a trick to it. I'm not interested in assessing your ability to solve riddles or anything like that. So anything that could be confusing, I'm going to try to point out up front.
Okay.
This doesn't mean that the question is easy or hard, but it is at least straightforward.
Okay.
Now, if you haven't used CoderPad before, you can see that there's a left sidebar next to the text editor where you can click on languages. So if you click on that, you'll be shown a menu of many different coding languages. You can
Oh.
choose any one of those that you would feel comfortable offhand, or if you want to wait to see the question, you are welcome to do
Yeah.
that as well.
Okay. Um. Who is Liam?
Uh-oh.
Um. Oh God, they're getting in. Oh no, Dave.
Yeah, I thought we had this figured out. Let's see. It says that the waiting room has been
Liam,
disabled.
stop. Go live. Stop this. Go
This is very
live.
unfortunate. Let's
Uh,
see here.
might just have to open a new one, and I'll hide it.
No, yeah, for some reason the waiting room got disabled. I'm not sure why that happened, but it may have occurred when I let in Pona earlier. Let's see. So let's go ahead. I'll make a new pad here and make sure that the waiting room is enabled.
Okay. All good.
All right. And
Sorry,
I
sorry
will
about that. I
I
usually they behave themselves. I told them not to mess with the
yeah, no,
interview.
I anticipated. So I will have you join. I'm sending you a new link right now. I will have you join that. Should I just send it over to you on our Discord chat?
Yes.
All right. So I've sent it there. I'll have you join. Once you're in, then I will enable the waiting room so that folks cannot get in, hopefully.
Okay. I joined.
All right. And the waiting room is enabled. So hopefully nobody will be able to get in now. You should be able to use the screen now.
Okay.
Now we ended up in Python 3. I don't know if that was by design. Was Python 3 what you were intending to solve the problem with?
Depends on what problem you give me, because obviously, there's different languages that are suitable for different problems. So I probably will be leaning towards Python. Just, it's just the most English, straightforward. I think it's easy, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. In that case, I'm going to go ahead and paste in the question as I promised, and go over it verbally as well. Notably, the stuff that is in here right now, the say hello function and the loop, are boilerplate. They have nothing to do with the question, so you can delete them if you so wish.
Okay.
So I've pasted this in here at the top, and I'm commenting it appropriately for Python. So what we're going to do is we are going to write a function in the language of your choice, which looks to be Python 3.
Yep.
This function is going to take in a string and return a Boolean. So the input to this will be a string, the output will be a Boolean. The input string is something that is potentially going to be a palindrome, and that is what we are trying to determine. So we're going to take in a string and report back, return from that function, whether or not the string is a palindrome.
Okay. Got it.
So if we look at the examples there, we can see the word race car, for example, is indeed a palindrome, as it starts with an R, and then the second in is A, third in is C, and then in the middle you have an E.
Mm-hmm.
So that would return true, whereas race a car does not match the convention due to that additional A, and therefore would return false.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And is this also a like, should it have a thing like if you put a number in, it just shouldn't work, or what?
When you say a number, you're referring to
Like an
input of
integer.
an integer
Yeah,
type?
yeah, like an integer input.
For now, let's assume that we should only allow strings.
Okay, and case sensitive or
That's a good question. Let's be case insensitive.
okay. So race car, if it had a capital R at the end, it would still be true if there's no spaces.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct. Good question.
All right, so we'll start by defining the method palindrome, which takes in a string, string input. Okay, so here's our function. Actually, I don't think this is a thing in Python. String is not accessed. Okay, yeah, so it just takes in the input. All right, so we'll just assume it's a string. So palindrome. So to figure out whether or not the input is a palindrome, we got to read it forwards and backwards. So in order to make the backwards string, I can't use the ChatGPT, right? Like, we're not allowing that.
I would say you should keep that right side of the view window to the program output. I think that would be best.
Okay, got it. Obviously it's been a while since I used Python. I know there's some built-in functions that would make this a lot easier, but I'm just going to go with the standard, what I remember from school, which is to use a for loop. It's probably not the most efficient, but it is how I remember doing it. So we're going to do, we're making a string. Oh, wait, here we go. Wait, no, that doesn't. Okay. So we're making my string backwards, and we're gonna just call it that. Does that work? Fuck. Oh, fuck. Can I do a different language? I think I could do this in a different language.
Yeah, let's go ahead. It is not too late to change languages.
Okay.
We've only lost a few minutes.
Yeah. So Rails. Let's do Java. Java, it's a little more, wait, how do I actually switch it?
If you go to languages and select Java, it should open a new tab. Although it looks like it's bugging for some reason.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and make that for
you know what? I can do it.
You are sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's do for I in range input dot length. I think that works. Yeah. So we're gonna do the length of the input, and just iterate through it here. So backwards plus equals input at input dot length minus I. And then we'll bring it back and we will check to see if backwards, you just return input equal to backwards. So now I need to make sure it works, right?
It would be good to make sure that it works, yes.
Right. So to take in the input, you're going to obviously want to, well, we'll just do a sample input. So we can just do print palindrome. I'll just do the two samples that you included. So palindrome, race car, and then palindrome race a car, like that.
Okay.
And we'll just see what happens here.
Okay.
And I'll just comment these out. So
Perfect.
let's go ahead and give it a run. Okay, so it seems...
So we're getting an attribute error here. What do we think that the problem is?
Right, attribute error. String object has no attribute len. Right. Oh, sorry. This is just... I'm just getting some language things confused. I believe it is this
You gotta be
syntax.
careful. It looks like we're writing a mix of Java and Python.
Yeah,
We gotta
yeah.
Make sure we're keeping consistent.
Yeah. So that now this might... I'm feeling better about this.
Okay.
Let's give it a run. Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Right. So, interesting.
So why do you think it's saying false for the first one, which we expect to be true?
Oh, because it's -1. It's supposed to be -I. I think that might fix it.
Yeah. You had it right the first time, and then you had it as I, and then made the mistake. So now we get a nice index error instead. That's a good improvement.
Right. So, interesting. Because it can't access it at the length. So, let's do -1 -I. I think that'll fix it. There we go. And so, the palindrome function is working as intended.
Yeah. So there's two approaches we can go down right now. A couple of different paths to proceed. I think first I will ask you about this solution that you have created so far. What do you like about this solution that you have written?
I like that it's just very simple. I think it's very straightforward. I would have preferred to use more of the built-in functionality of Python, which I know that there are functions. I can't remember them exactly. That would make it a bit easier.
No, this is great. This is what we're looking for. I'm sure that Python has a built-in is palindrome function, but of course that would be a trivial solution to the question.
Yeah.
But if we take a look at the time and space complexity of this solution that you have proposed here, can you tell me what those are respectively?
You mean like in big O notation?
Yeah, that would be great.
So it's based on the length of the input. So it's just running through the length. So it's just a big O(n).
For time or for space?
For time, for space, it's big O(2n).
What is the difference between big O(2n) and big O of n?
It's a double. It's two of them.
Okay, got it. And if we talk about the time complexity, we see big O(n), we see the space complexity, big O(2n). Can we take a look at trying to decrease that space complexity?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
No.
So, a simple way that this can be done is by simply, within the function, checking... making this smaller. I think the only way you could do it is by having something in the loop that is checking as it's building the palindrome to see if it's even worth continuing. You know?
So yeah, tell me about that solution.
Like, do you want me to do it or do you want me to talk about it?
Well, why don't you tell me first, and if it sounds like it's something we could get coded out, we can code it.
So basically, like let's look at the false example. So race car, it goes all the way through and it works because it's true. So that's great. But race a car, you would quickly find out that it is not equal. It would do the first three, it'd be fine. Then you would get to the fourth. There's a space there instead of an E. So I would be comparing this side versus this side. And I don't know if you could see what I'm highlighting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're comparing the two sides, so you could jump out earlier in those scenarios.
Well, I will quickly address one of the things you just mentioned there, which is that you said you find that space. I would say race space car should be considered a palindrome for the purposes of this question.
Oh,
Does that impact how you would solve it at all?
yes, it would because I didn't. Well, I didn't. I thought spaces. You said spaces mattered at the beginning, so they don't matter.
There may have been a miscommunication.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. If in that case, in terms of shortening this, I really think this is about as good as it gets. I don't see it getting much shorter than this. What do you think?
Are you talking shorter in terms of the number of lines?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about space.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. No, this solution right now is very elegant in its simplicity. It's very readable. But if, for example, we passed in a palindrome that was several million characters long, then we start having concerns about the fact that it is creating two strings of that length.
Oh, okay. Actually, then if you're okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So what I could do is, as I'm going through it, I'm just comparing the two parts of the same thing, and oh, wait, for well, no, because if you would want to get rid of the spaces, you'd have to do something else, I guess. But I mean, I guess then you could just compare the input beginning to the back of the input.
Well, I suppose let's first, because we've mentioned the spaces problem a couple of times now, let's first solve this for the spaces problem. So right now, if you were to, on line 24, put a space between race and car, will this still return true or will it return false?
Well, let's just try it. So that returns false.
All right. Yes, but we want that to be true. So how can we go about tackling that?
So, obviously at this point, you would want to just get it out of the string, which is, again, I know there's built-in easy functionality for doing this in Python. You could just do like input, remove, space, or something. If I'm doing that manually, then I feel like I would need another loop just to clean it, or some kind of what are they called? A regex.
Do you think there's any way we could evaluate what the current character is during the for loop?
You could. You definitely could. I mean, yeah, because then you could just be like, okay, if input at I is equal to, is equal to a space character, then that is interesting, because then you could just do input at I equals input at I plus 1, which then kind of moves it along.
I think we got away with. For one thing, I think we actually put some squirrely braces in as though this is Java. So I think it's going to be very upset until we remove those. I think. So first and foremost, the thing I thought I heard you describe verbally was that we don't want to do anything if we are currently looking at a space.
Wait, what? Don't want to do anything?
Or maybe I misunderstood. I thought your idea verbally, when you expressed it, have been, if it is a space, then just move on.
Well, wait. Well, because the reason race car is returning false is because it is treating the space like it's a normal thing. But we don't want to do that. We want to just scrap it and merge them together.
Oh, so your idea is actually to modify the string as we go.
Yes. Hello? Oh, sorry. Hey, I'm in the middle of I'm in an interview. I have an interview.
Wait, but I need something really badly.
Sorry, Dave. Okay, sorry. My roommate, I guess, is.
I'm so sorry. Do you,
What's
can I get your switch plug?
What?
Do you mind if I borrow your switch plug?
Just use that.
Perfect. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I hope that the interview's going well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Not anymore. It's not.
I'm really sorry about that. I should have had my door locked. My bad. Okay, so where were?
That's fine.
So,
It's outside of your control.
so where were we?
So we were taking a look at your description of how you wanted to avoid that space, and it sounds like your idea was when we encounter a point where we have a space, we would create a new string without that space.
Yes, but you don't want a new string, right? Like we're trying to reduce the space
I would say,
issue.
are we worried at all about the impact on the time or space complexity if we are creating new strings every time?
I mean, I'm not really worried about it. Are you?
Well, if we want to keep this as efficient as possible.
Okay, well, that sounds like your fucking problem.
Yeah, it certainly is a problem for getting this to return as false, or excuse me, return as true. We want it to be true, while also not expanding the amount of time or memory that we're consuming.
Yes. Okay, well, I actually have an idea that I just remembered, actually. I was thinking in my head, I was like, what is it? And I think we're looking for this. Which is just going to fix everything. Probably.
Okay.
So let's see. Oh, right. Sorry, we'll keep backwards just for now. What?
So can you tell me what the difference is between a single equal sign and two equal signs?
Oh, no, sorry, I'm just shaky. Okay, I got it.
Totally understandable.
So now it works.
Well, I'm seeing it come back and saying false.
Chad, how does this work? All right. Let's just get back to the business. So where were we?
So
I actually remember. I remember how it works now.
Okay.
So it's that, and so that should work. And so now we have the true and false.
Okay, and we have a true and false, which is what we were looking for.
Yeah.
Now so we unfortunately didn't get a chance to increase the efficiency, but we are handling an edge case now, which is a scenario with spaces. But it's always very important whenever we're developing software, of course, to have that quality mindset. To have that quality mindset that you were describing that you received from your internship.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that if you're doing that quality engineering role, then probably pretty solid on finding test cases. So let's go ahead now and attempt some new runs, much like we did on 25 and 26, with some additional test cases that you'd like to throw against this to see whether the function can handle them.
Okay. So, are there any you have in mind?
Well, that is what I'm proposing to you. With your quality engineering background, I was thinking you might be able to come up with
Oh,
some
yeah,
good
yeah.
ways to try to break this function.
Right. So, I'll do this. We'll make a set of them, and we'll just go through a bunch of them. Because we should test empty ones. We should test just a space. You know, you said that it should only be strings. So, but we'll do numbers too. And I think that's a pretty nice set of things.
Well, is that last one a string?
Yes.
Right. So it's a number instead of a string, but it's not an integer, which I think was your earlier concern.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't really talk. You said we're just assuming that it's integers. Obviously, if we wanted to test something, we should do that. But now we can do something like if I think we can just do if it's a string, I think that's what that means. Then we just return false immediately. Or if it's not a string.
So what does that str mean?
So what this means to me is that it's it means that it's
Well, here's what, Chipping, because I think that you are looking to check whether input is of type string. Is that right?
yes.
Yeah, this is one that, of course, on any given workday, we would normally just Google
Yeah.
to do a quick check. So I can actually just fill in the blank for you on this one.
Okay, so what is it?
You can use it there. Well, there are several ways to do this, but one way you could do it is just do is instance.
In parentheses?
Not inside of parentheses now. Or sorry, much like in Python, you call the length function on something. Here we're going to call it the is instance function on input.
Right, okay.
And then that would be comma and then str. So that's where we're going to be checking. Yes. All right. So, but although it doesn't look, I think we might want to remove the parentheses.
There we go.
And then it might be happy.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because
So now you have that check there, which is a very good check to have.
yeah.
Good thinking. And now it sounds like, yeah, you had made this nice array of possible palindromes.
Yep. So we're just gonna iterate through these. My bad. Again, this is just shaking off some rust.
Yeah. And are you familiar with for each loops by any chance?
Oh yeah, we could do one of those too. So for
Okay.
I don't remember the syntax for the for eaches. I'm obviously familiar of them.
I will say the use of I might be a little confusing, but the palindrome will be even more confusing because that's the name of the function. Sure. That works. All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and try running this and see what we get.
Int object has no attribute replace.
And you might note that before we got this, we got 5 falses in a row.
Wow. That's,
So what do you think happened there?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you, Dave.
Well, I'll tell you. You previously had something
Wait.
correct.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting my languages confused.
Previously had.
Yeah, there we go. So boom.
So we've come back and it looks like we're saying that race car is a palindrome. Race a car is not. The empty string and a string that is just a space are considered palindromes. That number you passed in as a string is not a palindrome, and that final integer also is not a palindrome. How do you feel about these responses?
I feel like they're pretty good. You know, if I was truly wanting to code this for the sake of like we're in a company and we're making a project, I would obviously, have throw cases to throw out, oh, this is this isn't the right type. Don't even give it a false or a true. It should just say wrong input. That's probably the only change I would make.
And that would be for which of these?
For just the last one, because that is the only one that is not a string.
Got it. Yeah, just basically instead of saying false, throwing a type error of some kind
Yeah.
to say this wasn't the right thing.
Yeah.
No, that's a very good call out. Okay, so I'm actually just going to propose one more test case, if you don't mind.
Sure.
It's a well-known one, and I'll actually type this in here.
Okay.
So it's a man, a plan, a canal, Panama. That one is a palindrome, and we should treat it as such.
Well,
I'm
but
curious to see how your function will handle it.
Well, we can clearly see an exclamation point, so could I modify the code?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And obviously I'm also going to have to do I'm not sure if it's going to work with the cases here.
What do you mean by cases?
Like it's like a capital P, the
I see.
Yeah.
That was something I think we had discussed at the beginning as something we wanted the function to handle, right?
Yeah, we want it to be case insensitive. So very simple function to do that everybody knows is we're going to just do input equals to lower. Is that Python? Maybe I'm misremembering.
I think that your syntax is struggling here. So I think you're going to want to. Okay, yeah, that looks more correct to me.
I mean, really, we could just throw it in here. It doesn't. And then,
okay.
Obviously, we can also do to account for this exclamation point. So I'm going to save that, run that, and
it's still coming back as false.
Let's try just getting the commas out of there too. That could be, I think, much like the spaces. And obviously, if I was really wanting this to be efficient, I would have a regex expression that would just kind of strip it of all of those, and there we have the true. So
there we have the true indeed. So we've gone through, and I think that something, of course, you might know this offhand. I think you were just alluding to it. Is that if I go and modify this final comma to be a colon, then the exclamation point to be a period, we're going to have the same sorts of problems. It sounds like your regex idea would come really in handy, and I don't expect you to have regex memorized offhand.
Yeah.
But what would you want that regex to be selecting for? What would you want to be matching?
Well, I mean, it seems like you don't want punctuation to be a part of it, so I would get rid of all punctuation points, basically. Comma, colon, semicolon, exclamation point, question mark, tilde, squiggly line, long line, less than, greater than.
Do you think that there is so it sounds like you're looking to filter out. Is that accurate? Like you're trying to filter out most types of characters?
Yeah.
which types of characters would you want to keep in?
I would just keep in regular letters. I mean, yeah, we could obviously do the inverse and then just make sure that only the letters are getting through, and that would probably be an easier way. You could also use the ASCII code for just A through Z, which again I could whip that up quickly. But like you said, for these kinds of things, you would just Google it quick and then boom.
Yes. Okay. So would you want to be writing that regex to select 4 letters, or would you want to be writing it to avoid other types of characters?
4 letters.
4 letters. Okay. Great. And okay. So with that, we just hit the half-hour mark, which is great. So we have a solution here that works for a lot of our edge cases.
Yeah.
It sounds like we are both on the same page that there is still some more to go.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a plan for that. We have a plan for that, which is the important thing. So this is the point in the interview where we'll hit the pause on the technical portion.
Okay.
Which is because you actually did pretty well.
Really?
You actually did pretty well. Yeah. I have definitely seen worse.
Okay.
Normally, we even have like a smidge of maybe like a few more minutes of time, but I think we had already hit a point here where we expressed that regex should be used, and then that would just be like an improvement that we could make offline, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think one thing we were potentially missing here was that space complexity.
Yes.
So right now, also just as a quick note, you eliminate numbers from big O. So big O2n is the same thing as big O-n.
Okay.
Because when you talk about n, because it could be infinitely large, theoretically, saying, it'll be a complexity of a bajillion versus 2 bajillion. It's like, no. The problem is the bajillion. We want to get rid of that normally.
Yeah.
So the way we could have approached that, instead of using this array, which again is certainly a more elegant approach, and like in an interview, it's fairly reasonable to say, I like this because it's more readable. Like, I'm going to have other engineers reading my code. They're going to want to know what it's doing. We could do 2 pointers and essentially just walk in from the exterior, have a pointer at the beginning and a pointer at the end, and go and just check that these guys are equal.
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking I would do. Again, that's the kind of thing I know how to do. I know the theory of it. It's just I wouldn't be able to write it. Again, it'd be a quick Google and then boom. Did you freeze? Hello? Dave? He just disappears. It's just over. He's actually mewing. Oh, God, dude. This is so stupid. Dave, come back. Dave. Hello? Anyone? So...
Sound?
Yo, hey, what up?
Oh, you can hear?
Yeah, you just froze.
Yeah, Pone and I were still talking. I think something went wrong in the house or something.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
was like, why are you yelling? But yeah, so overall, like, depending on what the position would be, like, this, if I was hiring for this is sort of like fresh college grad, depending on the position, this is good. And I'm assuming they were going for one of those positions. So I would like to extend a job offer.
Really?
Yep.
Junior developer? Or what is it? What's it officially?
I think probably from what I've seen here, somebody said janitor. You're going to offer you a janitorial position. No, from what I have saw here, I think that probably most appropriately we'd be looking at maybe some sort of tools engineering because
Okay.
it looks like you have a pretty good grasp of Python. Um, it certainly is something to refresh on. You also had the Java that was getting mixed in there at times, but yeah, I think tools engineer would be super appropriate. And obviously here at my company, XYZ, we're always looking for more folks doing tools and automation. So I think probably starting salary. Would you be willing to relocate? Actually, is the first question.
Yes. Absolutely. I'm willing to die for the company.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so we'd be relocating you to the Bay Area in California,
Okay.
San Francisco.
Cool.
And we're
Cool.
looking at oh, actually, I think Pona may even have had all the offer details available somewhere.
Oh,
But we're looking at
Wait, we're
starting
we're paying
salary.
him? I
Yeah,
thought it was
the
a.
plan would be to pay him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think we'd be looking at 120K per year salary, 10 vacation days, and options depending on performance for bonus and RSUs, and a starting package of 50,000 RSUs, $50,000 of RSUs.
wow. Um, okay.
He's speechless.
That is the 10 days. Is that like a per quarter for vacation or?
That is annually.
Okay. Cool. Is that up to for negotiation?
Is there an issue you see with the offer?
No, I mean I love it. I actually love it, and I think I'm sure obviously there's plenty of room to work my way up the pole. So yeah, I think it's great. I mean, I'm down.
Would you
Oh,
be
okay.
able to work from Monday to Friday and not do 2 days on, 1 day off?
Absolutely. Yeah. I,
Oh, yeah. This would be a 9 to 5 job from Monday to Friday.
right. Yeah, I could do that.
Okay.
There
So
is one last thing. During this interview, our company email has been flooded with links to Twitch clips of various moments where you perform or say different things. Is this, first of all, I wanted to ask you, like, how long ago were you a streamer? Are you still actively doing it? And should we dive into these clips and make sure there isn't anything bad that's been said?
There's nothing bad. I've always been a very PG public persona, and it is a persona. Obviously, the things that I have said or done on stream are not representative of who I am as an individual or what I would bring to the company. And I, of course, would not, use the company's name to talk about. I wouldn't talk about anything that I'm not supposed to talk about. I do like to stream, of course. I think I would like to continue doing it, but it wouldn't get in the way of work. So yeah, I mean, if you want to look at the clips, you can. I don't think you're gonna find anything. But yeah,
That's very reassuring.
yeah. So
So you are accepting the offer then?
I am down. Yes. Well, I was actually gonna wonder if maybe we could get the numbers bumped up just a little bit. Because California is extremely expensive, as you know. The economy it's gotten really rough. So maybe a
So
few.
what are the numbers you're looking for?
I was thinking I was hoping for like I don't know 150,000. Um, I actually
150 from 120.
yeah, a 30K jump, not a huge deal. For what I'll be bringing to the company, I think it's very reasonable. And
Can you
also,
explain that?
what?
Is there something about your background that you could share with me to help me understand the $30,000 of additional value you'd be bringing?
Right. So, well, One of my weaknesses, which is actually one of my strengths, is that I care too much when I get involved with the projects, the company. I just can see myself getting so lost in it. Like, just trying my absolute best to figure it out. I'm the kind of person that'll be up at night thinking about, oh, how could I fix that? Eager to come back into the office and work with my colleagues. So I really think that
That would be a base requirement. We do expect that all of our engineers take their work very seriously.
yeah. So I'll take it extremely serious, and yeah, I just think I think that's a good offer. That also I need to even think about myself, if I even want to take the job because I have a lot of offers.
Oh, you do you have deadlines for those other offers?
Not yet. They
Do we have some time to work with?
we got time. Yeah, we got time. I'll probably get back to you in like a week.
Are you able to share any of the details from the other offers that you'd like to see in this offer, or is it just the 150,000?
150,000. I have like 50 vacation days, and I get to work remotely. It's not necessarily 9 to 5, but it's also NDA, so I can't tell you any of that.
Oh, yeah. Please don't violate NDA in discussing any of the details of job offers. But the number you are proposing is actually outside of the acceptable range for the position we are eyeing.
Okay.
We probably could do $125,000 and give you a signing bonus.
Okay. I mean that I will have to think about that, but that does sound very nice.
And is that all your concerns? We are certainly not going to be able to do the 50 vacation days, but we that is set in stone. You will, with each additional year that you work at the company, you would get one additional vacation day. But that is simply the corporate policy that we can't negotiate on.
Do you guys have like family vibes, or what would you say is the work environment like? Are you happy there?
Oh, I love the place. Yes, absolutely. I think that it strikes a very good balance between work life in the in your day to day. That for me is particularly important. But each person, of course, has the criteria that they're most interested in for the role. But if you are concerned about being able to, for example, continue your streaming side gig, that would be possible with the balance that we try to strike here.
Okay, that's awesome to hear. And I just have one more question for you, Dave.
Mm.
Is there a lactation room?
Of course, yes. Yeah, I will not ask any follow-up questions as to why you wanted to know.
Okay. All right, cool.
I appreciate you trying to go for that extra bump in salary, and I'm sure with that extra bump in salary that we did propose, you could buy yourself a nice suit to be presentable. Well, actually, on that matter, I wanted to ask you, your bottom half of the suit, does it match the top half?
You want to see my bottom half?
I want to see what you're working with here.
I'm showing you my better half right now, but I can show you, yes, if you would like to see. I am wearing a pair of shorts because I didn't expect to be showing off my bottom half.
It is standard procedure. Sometimes we have jackass showing up in just underwear to these interviews, so we'd like to weed out all these jackasses.
Understandable. That is not who I am, despite my name on my resume.
Well, I'm glad to see that we're all dressed.
Yeah.
You will be required to wear clothes to the office as well. So that's maybe that's why that was an important check.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have plenty of clothes, so it should be fine.
All right. Well, there's no need to go into those sorts of details. But with that, I think that we've had a successful interview here. I I think honestly the weakest part of this was your negotiation, but that actually works out well for me.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Hmm.
Hona, was there anything else that we needed to get from Mr. Simply here?
That was about it. This was a lot of fun.
That's fantastic. I have some follow-up meetings I need to run to, but it has been a pleasure chatting with you,
Hmm.
Simply,
Thank you so much,
and
Dave.
we look forward to getting everything filled out with paperwork.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. This was a hoot, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Yeah,
Thank you,
you
Dave.
you as well.
Thank you, Dave.